Thank you,
We
Advocate.
were on page 50, and the topic is Lieutenant General Mkwanazi's claim that I am a hired gun for cartels. You may proceed.
Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, Commissioners. Lieutenant General Mkwanazi essentially claimed that I am a hired gun for cartels. You know, the City of Cape Town, the city manager, Mr. Lungelo Mbandezayo, he unlawfully cancelled a staircase upgrade tender in 2020, namely tender 357Q. The repair of these deteriorating staircases is urgently required, because the City of Cape Town had itself acknowledged that the staircase infrastructure was ailing and critical. I could not find the engineer's report, but there exists such a report. I have attached a document signed by the city manager in which he acknowledges in his own words that the tender was unlawfully cancelled, yet he did nothing to remedy the breach of the bid adjudication committee. The document is attached as annexure FAA25. He further refused to explain what happened to the tender budget, which exceeded 600 million rand over the term of the contract. We approached various officials of the City of Cape Town, including Mr. Zakaria Hussein, the Chief Audit Executive, Mr. Basil Chenesami, who is now on suspension. He was the Supply Chain Management Director at the time. Mr. Kevin Jacobi, the Chief Financial Officer of the City of Cape Town. Mr. Malusi Boy, who was the Mayoral Committee for Housing at the time. The Mayor of the City of Cape Town, Mr. Jordan Lewis, and the previous Mayor, Mr. Dan Plato. This chairperson is a 6-year fight with the City of Cape Town, because tons of concrete are threatening to fall. We're talking three-story staircases. People have fallen right through. People have fallen over the top as these things are collapsing. The budget was approved by council. The city manager cancelled it. And people are getting hurt, legs, ribs, and arms broken daily. No satisfactory answers were ever provided to us, and I believed that our efforts to obtain information was repeatedly shut down. The Mayor publicly stated on radio and in council that no political persons were ever involved in the fraud, and the matter was merely one of maladministration and not criminal in nature. He states on the record in council that I was dreaming or I had smoked something. I was insulted and I was ridiculed during a council sitting and was removed from the council meeting, with the conduct being supported by the Speaker of the City of Cape Town, Miss Felicity Purchase. A member of the NCC, Mr. Hanif Lunat, is one of the most renowned crime fighters in the country, opened a criminal case against Elita Painters and Decorators, trading as the Construction Co. The company subsequently changed its name to, it was Elita Painters at the time, it changed its name to the Construction Co. This company is operated by Mr. Asif Khan, Mr. Abdul Karim Khan, and their brothers Uwais and Irfan Khan. The case number relating to Mr. Lunat's complaint is 199/01/2022 and 200/01/2022. This is the same company we had asked the Mayor in the City of Cape Town to take action on. Had it not been for what I regard for the sterling work from the Commercial Crimes Unit in Cape Town, we believe nothing would have happened to this company. They are before the court now. I have attached one tender amongst the many awarded to this particular company, namely tender 243Q of 2017/18. Please see Annexure 27. Now, this tender was awarded as a 3GB tender. This, as I understand it, it means that the company qualifying for that grading should have a prescribed maximum turnover and an experience threshold. The tender was initially awarded at a paltry 60 million rand. The eventual payout on that tender was 503 million rand. We sought an explanation from the officials identified above, but no satisfactory response was ever provided. We demanded that the city seek recovery of the funds from this company, which had previously been charged in the Commercial Crimes Court. The city has refused. The City of Cape Town has, to my knowledge, not acted upon our request to recover a single cent of unlawfully obtained funds. I understand SAP's position that a minimum sentence of 15 years may apply where funds exceeding 500,000 rand are stolen and the SAPS is inundated with fraud investigations. Nevertheless, in my view, this does not excuse the city from taking appropriate civil action to recover funds where it believes that funds have been improperly obtained. I have attached Annexure FAA13, which provides a detailed background to the alleged fraud and corruption involving City of Cape Town officials and the municipality. We have opened a criminal case concerning alleged contraventions of the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, the PRECA Act, against individuals at the City of Cape Town whom we approach for information that we believe should be available publicly. These individuals refuse to provide any information concerning tender 243Q. Now, I just want to draw your attention to this simple fact, Commissioner. The BAC documents on any tender is public knowledge in any municipality you go in the country. As corrupt as people may say the ANC is, or whoever is, only in the City of Cape Town does the Democratic Alliance, and I'm not playing politics, hide BAC minutes, which we requested, because that would point to the fraud, because they are denying that our staircase budget is stolen. And our elderly people are walking up tons of concrete while it's doing that. Furthermore, the city manager, Mr. Bandezeo, he undertook publicly to provide the forensic report prepared by the City of Cape Town's own forensic division to the media in January of 2021. That report remains unavailable. Member of Parliament Sakina Frenchman has made numerous requests to the Human Settlements to make this forensic report available to the Human Settlements Committee. That's more than a year ago. Evidence is still being denied.
Sorry, Mr. Adams, this section is supposed to deal with allegations made by Ken Mkwanazi that you are part, I think, what does it say, of the cartel that you're
This is
being
as
used.
paginated here, ma'am.
Hey?
I'm reading it in the order it's coming.
No, I'm saying it's paragraph, page 50. The
Yes.
heading is Mkwanazi's claim that I am a hired gun for cartels.
Yes.
Yes, so you don't deal with the nature of the claim. What is the claim? What does he say? Why are you a hired gun? You just go right into a tender fraud matter.
No, we'll get there if you'll allow me to just
Okay,
keep
but can
wrapping.
you tell us what's the significance of
Yes,
mentioning
ma'am.
the tender?
General Mkwanazi has said at the ad hoc committee that there are politicians that are working with cartels. He's only mentioned two politicians. It is myself and Honorable Diane Kohler-Barnard. So I don't know how Honorable Kohler-Barnard feels about that, but it is clear that he's alluding that it's me. So I am trying to explain to this commission here that the charges I laid were not my first rodeo. I'm going to give you numerous cases of fraud and corruption in the City of Cape Town while I was a sitting councillor that I laid. And I also want please commissioners, I want you to see how the NPA itself has held us back. It's in here if you'll just allow me to read it. I know it's a little bit long. Thank you. Sorry about that, Advocate. I do apologize.
You may proceed then.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the page now. Sorry about this, man.
You're not towards the end of 53.
There I am. Thank you, Commissioner Kumalo. I have been advised by a whistleblower that the report in question, the one the city manager is hiding, the forensic report, identifies approximately 343 million in irregular expenditure. I have not been provided with a lawful explanation as to why the report cannot be accessed. I have also opened a criminal case against Rhodium Construction relating to allegations that the company attempted to circumvent restrictions imposed upon the construction code by the City of Cape Town. The directors of Rhodium Construction, according to the information available to me, are the wives of Mr. Asif Khan and Abdul Karim Khan, the directors of the construction co, which is now before the court for fraud. Now, we've advised the city that this is fronting, that these are the wives of the people that are in court. The city has awarded them over 400 million rands worth of tenders. That case is currently under investigation. We have also brought the alleged irregularities to the attention of the Construction Industry Development Board. We wrote to the city manager and the mayor, but we have received no response in over 12 months. The criminal cases concerning the construction co have, in my view, been delayed and obstructed by the NPA. The Commercial Crimes Unit of SAPS has performed excellently in my view, in this investigation. But I believe that the NPA is attempting to derail this matter. The complainant in the case, Mr. Hanif Lunat, and I have attempted for more than 4 years to obtain a meeting with Advocate Esmeralda Johnson, who has steadfastly refused to meet with us. So I'm I'm going to shorten this because it is lengthy. These people are accused, Chief. I mean, we've given SAPS hard information that these people have defrauded the city of Cape Town of hundreds of millions of rand. They are charged with 2.5 million. The NPA, in our view, is preparing these people for a slap on the wrist, when in actual fact 15 years is the prescribed sentence. Now, we've been asking for 4 years for the prosecutor to meet with us to make us understand how you've shrunk this case to 2.5 million, and she refuses to meet. We have emailed Marlene Governor, Nicolette Bell, to explain to us. They refuse to answer. And we take this seriously because this is our staircase budget that has been stolen. We want these people convicted properly if they have indeed committed these crimes, but we want our money back so our communities can be developed. The NPA refuses to assist us. Advocate Nicolette Bell has not responded to our request for assistance for a period of approximately 3 years. Please say FAA 14. We have emailed, not me, Hanif Lunat has emailed Advocate Mop. I think that might have been 4 months ago. He's the new head of the NPA in our area. He's not responded either. Mr. Lunat and I have gone to the extent where we've laid criminal charges against the NPA for defeating the ends of justice because they are derailing these cases. I have attached the affidavit presented to SAPS by Mr. Lunat. The affidavit is attached as Annexure FAA15. The one point where I can agree with Lieutenant General Mukwanazi is that political influence can play a role in criminal cases being set up to fail. Had it not been for the tenacity of Mr. Lunat, and to a lesser degree myself, I believe that the construction co and the persons involved in this conduct would have escaped accountability 4 years ago. Commissioner, they've been before the court for 4 years for fraud. They haven't played yet. That's the game the NPA is playing with us in this case. We are at every court appearance for the last 4 years, every month. They still haven't played. They've had to appear before the court on one day. I can get you the date. And what happened on the day is the accuser's not in front of the judge, but the case gets, but they get given another date. We can't understand what's happening here. I'm going to move straight to the end of page 58 because we have laid charges against fleet management. I have also, it is according to the Democratic Alliance Councillor, Mrs. Deirdre de Vos, and Mayoral Council Member for Housing and Deputy Federal Executive Chairperson, Mr. Carl Papheim, that an attempt on my life was made by Alderman J.P. Smith, the head of safety and security in the city of Cape Town. It is alleged by, let me rather give you the back end of the story. I think it's going to be easier, Chairperson. I was coming from Mpumalanga, I think it was in June of last year, when I got a phone call from then Councillor Papheim, who would later become the MACO Member for Housing. And he said to me, Fadiel, wherever you are, stay indoors. And I asked him why. I said, I'm a big boy. He said, no, JP, I can't repeat what he said. I said, Carl, what's happening? Because Mr. Papheim and I are cordial. He said to me, JP tried to have you killed. I said, why? He said, no, Deirdre called me now. He says, Deirdre is a bit slow. So she did what JP told her to do and realized afterwards, and then she called me for advice. I said, what happened? He said, JP Smith, I think he's the Deputy Federal Chairperson of the DA, he sent a newly elected Councillor, Deirdre de Vos, to Manenberg to go and speak to a former gang boss who does work for the city of Cape Town and tell him that Fadiel is meddling. We're going to have to cancel your contracts. Being as dilly as Deirdre de Vos is, she went to the gang boss. And I think his reaction, it sparked a little bit of intelligence in her because she called Carl Popheim. I have a screenshot of the conversation which I only obtained this morning because it was with commercial crimes. I didn't know where else it was because that device is no longer with me. And I called Councillor de Vos and I recorded the conversation. I also called Mr. Faik Moses, the former gang boss, and he said to me, they wanted me to kill you, but I will not be used. Because, Chief, if you have a perception of me as a gangster, a violent man, a drug dealer, a killer, and you tell me that someone is threatening my money, you can assume which way I'm going to react. And this is what Alderman J.P. Smith did according to his own councillors. I, sir, called Faik Moses. I lodged an inquiry. The inquiry number is 1/6/2025. The Commercial Crimes Unit took this case. They took the screenshot where Carl Popheim and Deirdre de Vos are having a conversation where it's confirmed that they tried to have Fadiel killed. They've got a statement from Mr. Faik Moses saying, yes, I do get the impression that they wanted me to hurt this man. They've got a 3-minute or 4-minute recording of Deirdre de Vos speaking to me, not denying that this is what happened. In Cape Town, they cannot get a warrant on that basis. I don't know what not a warrant, a search and seizure, because our SAPs wanted their phones to see if the communication was real. They can't get a warrant. So fighting corruption in the city of Cape Town means that next time I walk into Manenberg, there's a bullet waiting for me. And again, this is the NPA and the magistrate saying we won't issue a warrant on the basis. And someone at Commercial Crimes told me we can't understand this. We've gotten warrants with 10%. 10% of what you've given us. So when General Mkwanazi makes the assertion that I am a hired gun because I laid charges, I need you to understand, Chief Commissioner, that this is something I've been doing for years. That where I see possible corruption, I will report the crime and step off. And on my phone, I actually saw now the other day, one of my cases, I got a response from SAPS, there's no merit to the case, I'm sorry, we've got an Ollie prosecute. I'm okay with it. I'm not here to make the decision. I'm saying, please look into this. That's all I'm asking. So, fighting corruption, in my view, is not safe. I asked the Commission to listen to Annexure FAA16. It is in support of my allegation that Carl Popheim and Deirdre de Vos alleged that J.P. Smith tried to have me killed. So, when Lieutenant General Mkwanazi claims that Fadiel Adams or the NCC are hired guns for criminal cartels, the criminal cases that I have opened at great risk to myself, because I know who I'm dealing with. Because you have to remember, the city of Cape Town is the municipality that is notorious for giving big tenders to gang bosses. That's who you're fighting when you report these things. This is the risk we take. So for me to be labeled a hired gun or a conduit for cartels or whatever it is that's going on in General Mkwanazi's head, I take offense to it. Because I, as a nothing, in my view, have done more than he has about crime that he's known about. He's happy to come and sit here and talk about it, but not once has he followed procedure, which is what both the MIS document and the Constitution require of any civic-minded citizen of this country.
Do you want to then go to 485 on page 59?
485.
I thought that's what he had just covered.
Yes.
Yes.
So then I will continue to fight for justice. Are you at 60 now?
I think I'm just being a little bit dramatic with 487, advocate. So if you'll excuse me with that, I think I'm done with that.
I think you've said it already, yes. 60,
Page 60.
events leading to my arrest.
The events leading to my arrest and the institution of criminal proceedings. This chapter deals with the sequence of events that culminated in my arrest and the institution of criminal proceedings against me. I include these matters because they form part of the factual chronology relevant to the Commission's term of reference and my interactions with the PKTT, and not for the purpose of inviting the Commission to determine my criminal liability or innocence. At the outset, I want to emphasize that the criminal proceedings instituted against me remain pending before the competent court, and therefore I can only say so much. I fully respect the authority of the court to determine the charges in accordance with the law. Nothing contained in the statement should be understood as asking to litigate those proceedings before this Commission or to prejudice the administration of justice. Prior to my arrest, I became aware of information suggesting that members of the PKTT were considering criminal action against me. The precise source of that information is dealt with later in the statement. Upon receiving that information, I did not seek to evade law enforcement authorities or frustrate any lawful investigation. Rather, I instructed my legal representatives to engage with the relative authorities in order to establish whether a warrant had in fact been issued, the nature of the allegations, and the legal process that would be followed. So, on or about the 9th of April, 2026, correspondence was addressed on my behalf to Lieutenant General Mkwanazi, the acting National Commissioner, I think it was Masimola, of the SAPS, and the acting Minister of Police, Minister Kachalia. Please see Annexure F7. So, in that correspondence, it was recorded that I had become aware of reports suggesting that a warrant of arrest either existing or was being sought against me. I just want to expand just on that just a little bit. I got a phone call from a gentleman claiming to be a friend of the hitman of Sindisi Magaka. He told me that the PKTT had been there to see his friend and they wanted incriminating evidence against me. My response was, I've done nothing. He said, I've been told to call you. I asked him, where did you get this number? He refused to say, because it was a new number. He refused to say. What I did then, as explained after this, I expressly indicated that I indicated to General Mkwanazi, General Masimola, and the Minister of Police that should a lawful warrant be issued, I was willing to cooperate with the authorities and present myself through the appropriate legal channels. The purpose of that correspondence was quite straightforward. My legal representatives sought clarity concerning the legal basis for any contemplated arrest, the jurisdiction in which this matter arose, and the identity of the investigating authority. We also sought to avoid the unnecessary deployment of operational resources where my cooperation had already been offered. Despite these attempts taken, no substantive response was received before operational steps were taken. So what I'm trying to say here, Chairperson and Commissioners, is that I'm sending an email to what I regard as 3 of the top people in law enforcement in the country. I'm saying to them, it's come to my attention that there may be an attempt to arrest me. So all I want to say to you is please don't send men with guns to my house. I'm putting it on record that if there's a warrant, I will present myself to the nearest police station, and here's my attorney on record. That is the email that I sent. That is the annexure. That is F7. The first response that I get to that email is after the PKTT hit the wrong house when they're trying to arrest me. There is common cause insofar as I understand the events that members of the PKTT subsequently arrived at my previous residential address in an effort to execute the warrant. By that stage, my willingness to cooperate had been communicated to the relevant authorities. Following those events, further communication took place between my legal representatives and members of the SAPS. The communication did not resolve the concerns that had been raised regarding the execution of the warrant, the jurisdictional issues involved, or the procedural steps that would be followed. These concerns are dealt with more fully in subsequent chapters in the statement. Please see Annexure FAA18.
Okay.
So, just so that you know, Commissioners, on the morning that it hits the news that the PKTT have hit the wrong house, this is using the best crime intelligence we have, General Mkwanazi responds to my email dated, I can give you the date. And General Mkwanazi says, as you know, I almost know it by heart, I've now been given a national task. So I'm not all that clued up with the PKTT. So when I asked the prosecutor earlier, he told me that there was no warrant. It's since come to my attention that there is a warrant. So I'm giving you this emailed order to interact with Mr. Adams' legal counsel. That is the gist of the email. My lawyer contacts the head of the PKTT, the operational head at the time, Lieutenant Colonel, I think it's Majitila, and is unable to receive any information. Not what is the charges, what is the jurisdiction, where are you taking him? Nope, he must hand himself over. I say to my lawyer, Shahid, is this procedure? He said, this is not normal. I said, what do we do? He said, well, we have the option of going to court to force the warrant out of them because they won't give us any information. We do so. The High Court grants me relief. The High Court says, hand Mr. Adams the warrant and the supporting documents that you used to obtain it. They ignore the High Court order. They proceed with the arrest. When they eventually comply, this is after we go back to court, they give us the supporting document, and it's in the, we'll get there, I'm just jumping the gun. The supporting document can't be read. That's how the PKTT operates. But we will get there, and I'm sure I will be questioned on this. An example of collusion between General Mkwanazi and Lieutenant General Kumalo. It should say alleged collusion. Before this commission, Lieutenant General Kumalo swore under oath that Mr. Stuart Sharnik is a serial hijacker with 17 convictions. He said it right here. A press conference was later called by Lieutenant General Mkwanazi where a statement is made by General Gopal that someone had broken into the offices of SAPS and deleted Mr. Sharnik's criminal record. Mr. Sharnik has proven to me that his record was lawfully expunged, and we invite this commission to call the head of forensics to explain the facts. Mr. Sharnik, in fact, had never been convicted or accused of a single hijacking. So I want to explain the gravity of the situation to this commission in my view, and I may be wrong. The head of intelligence, with files on all of us if he wants to, comes here, and he says about a man that the man has been convicted of 17 hijackings. He's a serial hijacker, when it's in actual fact a lie. Mr. Sharnik calls a press conference to tell the media, go check my record. Please, I'm giving you permission. General Mkwanazi calls a press conference where it said that someone broke into the office of the records to delete the record. Mr. Sharnik shows me an expungement certificate. And according to General Mkwanazi, from what I heard at the ad hoc, he and General Kumalo don't speak much. They only know each other from years back. But we leave it there. Chief, Commissioners, there's something that I feel I must put, I'm sorry, you have that regal mannerism, Commissioner Kumalo, so when I see you, I almost want to say King. There's something that I feel I must read into the record.
Mr. Adams, just to place it on record, the commissioners will decide whether you should read it into the record because it's not part of our terms of reference, which is the next topic, Chair. The discrimination against colored people in all spheres of government.
If I may, Advocate, I feel that part of this Commission's scope of reference is to look into criminality within the SAPS. And I can challenge anyone in this room to come with me now to any colored community, into a police station and help me find the coloreds working at the police station. The South African Police Service has been used as a tool to beat the colored people, and therefore I feel this is part of your terms of reference. In fact, for the last 2 years, not a single colored person has been given a promotion within the SAPS in the Western Cape, where colored people are in the majority. So I implore you, Commissioner, that if you want to understand your witness, allow me to read this into the record. Thank you.
Please go ahead and
Thank you,
read
thank you,
this,
thank you, Commissioner.
We will decide later whether it does indeed fall within our terms of
Thank you.
reference.
The discrimination against colored people in all spheres of government. In the financial year 24-25, not a single colored was permitted within the Western Cape was promoted within the SAPS. Please see Annexure FAA 9.
I was just going to ask you whether you wanted to make the correction that it's within the Western
Yes,
Cape.
within the Western Cape, I'm sorry. In May 2019, the Human Rights Commission made a finding that over 1,000 colored people's CVs was disposed of by the Department of Labor. I refer to Annexure FAA 20. And I want to give you just a little bit of context. There were 48 client services advisors available in the Department of Labor, which is the custodian of the Employment Equity Act. And I was at the Department of Labor on that day, on one day, where the boxes of CVs, where the CVs were laying on the ground because there were no more places. And when the department announced who was receiving the jobs, not a single colored person in all of the Western Cape received a single job. We protested against this. Mawela Mutambo refused to meet with us because we wanted clarity. Why are our children not good enough? I had to go on hunger strike in front of the doors of the Department of Labor. It's the only weapon that I had. I closed that place, Commissioner. I closed that place physically with a chain and a lock. And I said, you can go and lay charges if you want to. If we don't work, nobody works. I went on a hunger strike for 4 days. And then Reverend Chris Nissen from the Human Rights Department Commission got involved. And he issued that report which confirms that our children's CVs were thrown away. Every color that applied, his CV was thrown away. Now, I refer to the 2016 Human Rights Commission made a determination that colored people had suffered the brunt of skewed BEE and affirmative action policies. That is not me saying it. It is the Human Rights Commission. So I want to explain to you, Commissioner, if you give me a minute, that all those shooters on the Cape Flats and all those kids that are dying and all those young drug peddlers, they were once children with dreams, children with CVs, and they've given up. Because they've seen their uncles and their fathers walk, beg for jobs and not getting it just because they are colored. And if you can't have the conversation about gang violence without having the conversation of a lack of opportunity. And those opportunities are denied to our children. And I've lost friends and nephews and family and loved ones because of this discrimination. And I feel that this commission must look into that. And even if I have to threaten Justice Madlanga today, I will. But we need to look into we need to look into this, Justice, because it's the only way we're going to stop the killing.
Page 63.
The Sindiso Magaka matter. You know, the killer of Sindiso Magaka, he lies in prison. He's been begging for more than 2 years to make a full confession. I have attached his affidavit. The killer is a Mr. Ngengwa. And he asked that the commission notes that the weapon and the vehicles used to assassinate a crime fighter were supplied by crime intelligence. The killer also confirms under oath that he was escorted to and from the scene of the murder of one of our finest by police. According to our generals, our hero generals, this matter is still under investigation. I wish to remind this commission that Sindiso was killed in 2017. It is now 2026. I asked that this commission remembers that Sindiso Magaka was killed in 2017 and the implicated policemen are still working at crime intelligence. I also asked that the commission note that both the arresting officer and the prosecutor in my own arrest are mentioned in negative terms in the sworn affidavit of the killer, Mr. Ngengwa. Please see Annexure FAA23.
The conclusion and recommendations.
Finally, Commissioners, I have great hope and confidence in this commission and in the outcomes it may achieve, whatever hiding I may get here today. I believe I speak for my community when I say this commission can influence those in power to take meaningful steps to reduce the slaughter of my people on the Cape Flats. And that is what it is, Commission. It's a slaughter. 3,000 people a year. I also believe that if its recommendations are accepted, the Commission's work will strengthen the South African Police Service in fulfilling its mandate to protect and to serve. Commissioners, too many people have died. Too many lives have been lost and too many families have been shattered. And my plea today is that you recommend the restructuring and tighter mechanisms for crime intelligence. That we ask for better paid and better trained prosecutors. And if I may, and if there are any prosecutors that work for the state, please do not hate me for what I'm about to say. The problem we have, Commissioner, and I sit in court many a times to watch murder cases, sometimes of people that I know, is that once these kids have been robed out of varsity, and I'm a school leaver, I don't speak with authority, but this is my opinion. The best get absorbed into the Buchanan boys, the Bowmans. Those are where the best goes. The advocate sellers of this world, if you will. And the next best go to the next level of law firms. And ultimately, the prosecuting authority sits with what the rest of the world, what the rest of the country doesn't want. We need to offer better packages, better salaries, better money at the bottom so we can capture the best within the system. Because right now you're sending Fadiel Adams to go argue with Commissioner Kumalo that no matter how strong the case is, the better lawyer is going to win. We need to equip the prosecuting authority with the best lawyers, and I'm not taking a slight at anyone that works at the NPA. Because I've seen William Booth win impossible cases in Cape Town. Impossible. He wins those cases. And that is something I feel that when you consider the recommendations, perhaps you'll send something like that to the President to put more money into the NPA. Appointments and promotion on police officers need to follow public administration guidelines and not the whim of the police commissioner. Because right now, we sit with situations with criminals having their wives and children brought into senior positions within the SAPS. To what end? I don't want to make accusations. Employment practices need to be tightened to avoid nepotism and incompetent, unqualified and inexperienced people being appointed to positions of seniority. For example, not one colored policeman in the Western Cape was promoted in the last 2 years. I'm sorry, that just needs to be fixed over there. We are being told that our skills as colored people doesn't warrant promotion throughout the only province we live in. Revetting of all senior personnel from the rank of colonels all the way up to the national commissioners. We cannot, Justice Commissioner Madlanga, be in a situation where provincial commissioners do not have security clearance. How then do we justify them reading classified documents, the type of classified documents that certain generals without security clearance want to put me in prison for? It cannot be. How they can dispense budgets, reading documents they're not supposed to be reading, is a criminal offense, in my view. And I may be wrong, and perhaps you must guide me on that. The reduction of the senior members of generals, which exceed 200 people currently. I wish to use an example, and this is from someone that is not a great fan of anything American. In America, they have 1 general, 4 lieutenant generals, 8 major generals, 32 colonels, 32 brigadiers, 64 colonels, and it follows the logical mathematics afterwards. Here we've got 200 generals. No wonder we've got captains stuck in ranks for 20, 25 years. No wonder the rank of warrant officer is known as the graveyard in the SAPS, because all the monies are being spent on top. These generals don't come cheap. We can't have a situation where a general is a station commander. It belittles the rank, and it's an unnecessary waste of resources. A station commander must be no more than a colonel, in my view, Commissioner, but you will make that finding. No, I'm just offering you my uninformed opinion. My wish and my hope that this commission will be extended to oversee the implementation of its recommendations. I respectfully place a statement before the commission in the spirit of assisting it to establish the facts and to discharge its mandate. I recognize that the Commission must independently evaluate my evidence, together with the evidence of other witnesses and the documentary material placed before it. I do not ask the Commission to accept my allegations merely because I'm making them. I ask only that they be assessed fairly against the documentary record and the circumstances in which the information came into my possession. I've jumped something, Advocate. We've not mentioned my arrest at all. I've just realized.
Your arrest? When?
I've submitted it.
You did mention your arrest. What are you referring to?
No. That was the things that lead me to believe that there was interference in the process. My arrest is not in here, and I do believe that must be read into the record, because what comes out there might shock someone.
We did deal with it on page 60, but are you saying that there's more?
There's more. There's a lot more.
You haven't submitted that to us.
No, man, we did. But I'll clarify that with my office, but I know we submitted that.
Another affidavit, or?
No, it's just a supplementary, but I know we submitted that.
The only supplementary we have is a one-pager supplementary. Which...
No, not the one that was sent yesterday. Sorry to interrupt, not the one that was sent yesterday. That was sent along with this, but I will sort it out now. Thank you.
Okay.
So, where I have relied upon information relieved from others, I have sought to identify that fact Where I have personal knowledge, I have sought to distinguish it from opinion or inference. Where investigations or criminal proceedings remain pending, I respectfully acknowledge the jurisdiction of the relevant authorities and the courts. I remain willing to provide the Commission with additional documents, recordings, correspondence and other material in my possession and to answer questions concerning the content of the statement. I respectfully request that the Commission take into account the circumstances in which the statement was prepared, including the limited period afforded to me to respond to the evidence of other witnesses, my parliamentary responsibilities, which don't count right now, my pending court proceedings and the loss or theft of electronic devices containing potentially relevant information. I sincerely regret any omission or errors arising from these circumstances and respectfully reserve the right, subject to the Commission's directions, to supplement the statement where further information or documentation becomes available. I remain committed to assisting the Commission in establishing the truth and strengthening accountability, the rule of law, and public confidence in South Africa's criminal justice system.
Thank you. Shall we then go to your supplementary, what we do have on record? It's in file 4.
File?
File 4.
Okay, I have it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bita. Thank you.
Page 1.
Thank you. Thank you, Advocate.
It's dated 18 August 2026.
No.
And you can start with additional information regarding alleged rogue hit squad.
I offer my humble apologies to the Commission and make this late submission as further information that may assist you in your work. I suggest that contact is made with Sergeant Samkeliso Molotswa, another alleged victim of the same police officers accused of acting like a hit squad. Because this matter is sub judice, I will not speak of what I know, but I do offer Annexure F828 for perusal.
And what is that annexure? What is it?
F828.
Yes, what is it?
That is the submission. That is the sworn affidavit of and other information of Sergeant Malotswa.
Okay.
Number 2, the use of a cell phone interception device by the PKTT in the execution of my arrest in May of 2026. It is now confirmed that the PKTT used cell phone interception device in my arrest for a Schedule 1 accusation. This is confirmed during the state prosecutor during my bail, when she says, and I'm going to quote, that he switched his cell phone off every time he left the parliamentary precinct. The only way that she would have known that is if they were using a cell phone interceptor, unless the commissioners can perhaps tell me that I'm wrong, but that is my view of it. But this is a transgression of the law, as cell phone grabbers may only be used in the event of a threat of loss of life and limb. The video footage is listed as Annexure F829.
We don't have the video footage. What is it?
It is the prosecutor speaking in court.
Okay.
Because when I emailed the acting commissioner Dimpani and asked her if a cell phone grabber was used in the execution of my arrest, the response was quite puzzling, because the acting national commissioner writes back and says, this matter is sub judice and I cannot respond. It can't be sub judice because the warrant has been executed. We only want to know what means were used. Because when we get into my actual arrest, because if I may have just a 5-minute interjection, I just want to call my office. Because when we get into that, Commissioner, it is actually weird that this type of thing still happens in 2026. And I really thought that Steve Biko and the like were the last of the people who would suffer this type of treatment. So with your permission, Advocate, if I may have 5 minutes just to call my office, because I'm just a little bit confused here.
You want us to stand down for you to
Just 5
establish
minutes.
where the further affidavit is?
Just 5 minutes, if I may.
Okay.
If the commissioners feel it's not necessary, then we can move on, but I'm just requesting 5 minutes.
No, we'll come back when it's indicated to us to. Let's adjourn.
Thank you, Chief.